I think when we talk about holding perpetrators accountable and holding them in view, one of the issues we have is conflating custodial sentencing and accountability. So what we see in the family violence sector is this perception that accountability is custody, and that's going to solve the issue.
Holding the person choosing to use violence in view and accountable is a really important part of my role, even though I don't actually work with the person choosing to use violence. It's present in the case notes that I write, it's present in the conversations that I have with other services, and it's present in the conversations, most importantly, that I have with the victim survivor. They might come to me and say that they feel like they're to blame for all of the violence that has occurred. But in really gentle language, I help them reframe that to think about how every day the person choosing to use violence is actually making a choice and that they are accountable for their actions.
One of the ways that we can hold people who choose to use violence accountable in the work that we do is to ensure that when we are case noting different aspects of our client's file, that we're assigning accountability to the person who chose to use violence. We have to work with a lot of complex issues in family violence. For example, mental health issues or parenting struggles with people who have got children. So when we're talking about things like complex mental health in our client, be sure to also add in some of the reasons why there might be some complex mental health, drawing accountability and attention to the person who chose to use violence, who might be continuing to perpetuate violence against this person, preventing them from healing and recovering. To assign accountability to people who choose to use violence within those care teams is also really vital. Being aware and awake when you hear other professionals in the sector potentially using some victim blaming language or not actually bringing in a trauma-informed lens into the language that they're using in care teams. It's okay to speak up and actually draw attention and hold the perpetrator to account when we hear victim blaming language being used.
When I was working with a service that is not actually legislated under Victorian law to be following the MARAM, but they were part of the care team that I was working with, and they were making comments about the victim survivor in ways that were very much blaming them for their responses to the violence that the perpetrator or person choosing to use violence was using. My response to that worker was, so what I'm hearing from you in the way that you're describing this is it sounds like this is really normal response to trauma that someone is experiencing, and it's their response to the person choosing to use violence's behaviours. And I had to spend time communicating that to that service until they understood what I was saying, which took some time. Another way that we help show person choosing to use violence is accountable is through our provision of resources like our welcome pack, which often we give before the first appointment or on the first appointment. Inside of that is the Duluth Wheel of Power and Control, which I've actually spoken to quite a few victim survivors after they've looked at it, and it's just like, their life has changed. They didn't realise that there were so many ways that they were experiencing violence that wasn't physical. And so that was almost like the penny dropping for them, and a lot of emotion can come up for them when they read that.